Good evening and welcome to the Dollar Dogs and Beer podcast. I'm your host, Andrew, and joining me tonight is Jason. As we just ended one hell of an exciting World Series, man. Uh, Definitely everything and anything we could have hoped for.
Yeah, it was really good. I know some people might be wondering, hey, it's been over for a couple of weeks. Where were you guys last week? Just to let everybody know, I was out with bronchitis, so I'm doing better, but I'm still coughing a little bit every now and then. But yeah, we figured let's wait until you and I are both good to go, and so we're gonna better late than never. But yeah, I'm excited about how the World Series went. Got to spend time with my dad watching the
Yeah.
clincher. Big Dodgers fan, and he was just so incredibly excited and happy, and it was definitely just fun getting to be there watching it with him as they ended up winning. Because you get to a point where it's like you need to make sure that you're cherishing all the time you have with the family.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know when that time's going to end. And I mean, I know the Dodgers just won it in 2020, but everybody's going to say it was a short year. It's been years since the Dodgers won a real World Series, which
Yeah.
Can we, first of all, can we put that notion to rest that 2020 wasn't a real World Series? Because that's crap.
Yeah.
I know it was a short season, but it's still it's still a well-earned, well-deserved World Series title.
Yep.
The only time we should be talking about losing World Series is Houston against, ironically, Los Angeles, when there was certain trash can beatings and other assorted unsavory acts being taken place by the Astros during that.
Yeah, back in 2017, and that was one of the things my dad said was he goes, I'm glad they won it this year because now nobody can talk about 2020 and how it's been so long for that last Dodgers title was due to the shortened season. He said they finally just shut everybody up.
Yeah, and boy did they! But we'll get to that.
Sure did.
We'll get to that in a second. Jason, what are you drinking tonight?
So tonight, so for my birthday, a couple weeks ago, a couple of my friends who we go and do a deck tour with around the area, they got me a bunch of different alcohols. Just about all of them they're seltzer based. So there's High Noon Black Cherries, there's Neutral, which are really good. And they got me this, and it's absolutely fantastic. It is Sunny D vodka seltzer. And I tell you what, it tastes like just an alcoholic Sunny Delight. And it is fantastic.
That was so targeted towards Gen X, Zennials, and Gen Y.
Oh, yeah.
So hard.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
I got to get me some of them then. That sounds dangerously delicious. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
Oh, man. For me tonight, I went back to an old favorite, Blake's Hard Cider, the good old Triple Jam. I'm feeling cidery, and let's face it, the pumpkin beer's long gone, and it is way too soon to be drinking Mad Elf. Way too soon for that.
I saw that at the store a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh, this is so tempting. But I know I'm like, as much as I'm starting to get into the Christmas spirit at Christmas season, a little early, probably a little bit earlier than I usually do. I'm like, not yet.
Yeah, it's just not time yet. It's close, but it's not there yet. So yeah, not gonna lie, man. The videos and pictures you sent of your dad celebrating once the last out was caught, and that was so special, man.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you got to be there with him for that.
Same.
So
hell of a comeback too.
Oh, we'll get to Game 5 in a minute, but let's take it back to the beginning. The beginning, you had an extra innings thriller. It was a 6-3 win for the Dodgers. The fact of the matter is the Dodgers pitching, more than anything else in this series, the Dodgers pitching freaking showed up, and they showed up big.
Yeah,
the entire time. They did such a good job keeping the Yankees under control. Joe mentioned it in his message just in the preview. Where is Aaron Boone going to make questionable decisions? Well, he didn't wait long to do that. Game 1, Garrett Cole is cruising. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. He was at 88 pitches. and he pulled him. I'm thinking to myself,
Yeah.
I know that once you get through the order, every time more, the batting average creeps up and all that. I get that. At the same time, when you have a guy like Garrett Cole who is just throwing smoke, I
Right.
really did not understand the decision to pull him out. I know save the arm for later in the series, but he wasn't even at 100 pitches yet. And he wasn't taxed heavily getting to that point in the playoffs. So I didn't really agree with it, and that wasn't the part. That wasn't the part that blew up on the Yankees. That wasn't the really bad decision
Right.
that blew the Yankees up in that game, but it did mean that in a bullpen that was not as deep as Los Angeles's, it meant that he had to go to the high leverage arms earlier than he might have necessarily had to.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we talked about this when I was at what game was it wasn't the Yankees Red Sox game, but it was one of the late Atlanta games where they brought in where Atlanta brought in a high leverage guy, not in a clean inning, and he was better known for doing well with a clean start. I don't know if that was one of the things that Boone factored, that Clay Holmes does better when he comes in on a clean inning than when he comes in with runners on. I don't know what the decision making there was. I'm not inside his head, but it was definitely a decision that made me scratch my head quite a bit because I wasn't wild about it at the time, and it turned out in the end, while it didn't blow the game, it definitely changed the course of the game when you have to get into that bullpen sooner.
Yeah, and I think that's exactly it, and that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the series because there is such a thing as over managing, and in a series like this, he just overthought. Yeah, I just don't. I didn't really like that decision either. I mean, we even kind of saw a little bit of that later in the series as well. So I know we'll get there in a bit, but yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that they made the World Series, Boone potentially would have been managing himself out of a job there.
Yeah. So, he pulls Cole out with a 2-1 lead, which is potent as this Dodgers lineup is. Again, I feel like you run your ace as long as you can. But anyway, the Dodgers didn't put a run up again until the 8th inning. Weaver took the blown save for that when all the run was charged to Canley. Inherited runner role being what it is. And then in the 10th inning, the Yankees scored 1. And then in the 11th, once again, you had very, very questionable decision coming from Aaron Boone. First of all, why do you bring in a guy who hasn't thrown up the ball in a game in 37 days at that moment in time?
Yep.
I don't understand why you bring nasty Nestor Cortez in. I don't. He's not known to be a good reliever. I know I saw looking back, Shohei Ohtani never did well against him. I think he's something like 2 for 13, 2 for 12 in the regular season. Okay, whatever. First of all, that's a tiny sample size in the grand scheme of things. Number one. Number two, it's the playoffs. So you can take the old numbers and throw them out the window because, as we all know, playoff numbers do not equal regular season numbers. They never have. They never will.
Right.
Number three, yes, he got Ohtani out quickly, but let's not forget that it took a very, very long and lucky run and catch by the outfielder who had to reach way over to make that catch. That's not a catch that gets made every time. That's not a guaranteed quick out every time.
Right.
That was a fluky dumb luck out. You walk Mookie. Okay. I get it. Freddie Freeman's been a little hobbled lately, although I think they might have forgotten the fact that didn't Freddie have a triple in the first? Oh, yeah, he had a triple in the first that got the Dodgers on the board. Like, clearly we're not thinking here. And then Freddie Freeman does something that has never been done in World Series history. Hits a freaking walk-off grand slam.
Yeah. And it wasn't even like close. It was one of those, he hit the ball and immediately it's going at least like 10 rows deep. Yeah.
109.8 off the bat, 413 feet into right center. Right field. It didn't even make it to right center. It was pure pull. The videos of like the cameras inside the stadium, just listening to the stadium go from loud to jet engine, make me tingle. Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it. And I'm not a Dodger. I'm always going to love Freddie. Always.
Yeah. But I I could not believe that.
You can't go middle into Freddie Freeman ever.
And it was a fastball. Like,
it was a flat fastball.
You have to give him something off speed. Like you can't throw a pitch there to Freddie Freeman. You're going to get crushed every time. But I mean, even the thing with that too was, I agree, Cortez should not have been in that game.
No.
You have a guy who hasn't pitched in a competition in a real setting for a month. Over a month, and you bring him in the World Series?
Yeah.
Come on. There's no way that's going to work out for you. Especially, I mean, not only that, but you're also on the road in game 1. So you're throwing him out there in an already hostile environment. Like, yeah, that just absolutely made no sense. And then it was crazy. The end of the game, I just got the message from my dad, just wow, with all caps and exclamation points. So I was like, well, that's a great start for the Dodgers in this series.
Yes, it is. You know what? Let's watch that home run because we can. Come on, load up MLB.
Cortez delivers. Freeman hits it ball right field. She is gone. Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
Incredible.
What is it with the Dodgers and Hubbard first baseman in the World Series?
As it was on an October night 36 years ago, a Hubbard Game 1 hero for the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman with a walk-off grand slam to win Game 1 of the World Series 6-3 over the Yankees. Unbelievable.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. The fact it's wild. We've never seen a walk-off grand slam in the World Series at any point in the history of the World Series. So that's just, not only was it an incredible hit, but dang, was that a start of things to come?
Sure. Wow.
And then we get into game 2, which the Dodgers took 4-2 behind some amazing pitching by Yamamoto, 6 1/3, because Dave Roberts didn't overthink it. He said, my ace is pitching really well. I'm going to leave him in there and see how this goes. Great call, Davey. Great call. And you know, this is not a podcast that loves Dave Roberts. These are well-earned props. So Yamamoto, 6 1/3, 1 hit, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. The 1 hit was the home run given up to Juan Soto. It was a solo shot. Dodgers took this one 4-2. Freddie Freeman hit another home run. That was 4 straight. When you go back to the last time he was in the World Series with Atlanta in 21, 4 straight games at that point.
And I believe that after that game, I think I sent it to you. I said, if the Dodgers win the World Series, he is easily the front runner for MVP of that series right now. I mean, and he only added to his case throughout the next few games. But
yeah, absolutely, there was no other choice besides Freddie Freeman.
He essentially just put that team on his back because Shohei was essentially non-existent.
And yes, he was injured for the latter part of the series, but still, Shohei did next to nothing even before he got hurt.
Yeah. Freeman essentially put that team on his back and carried them. The pitching staff, I know we talked about that a little bit, because the pitching staff was, when we were looking at doing our playoff preview, that pitching staff, especially starting rotation, was a concern for us because
Especially
they hadn't been showing up right, and they just dominated the Yankees bats. They got them out. They were aggressive and they got out ahead in the counts. They were getting 0-1, 0-2, 1-1, 1-2, causing the Yankees to chase and stay off balance.
Such good pitching from the Dodgers throughout. Such good pitching. Dodgers took game two 4-2. And at this point, we were thinking probably won't be a sweep, but at this point, we wouldn't have been surprised if it was a sweep. Series comes back to New York. Dodgers took game 3 4-2. Walker Buehler, another one that we didn't think they were going to get squat out of.
Right.
5 innings, 2 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, didn't give up a run. The Yankees didn't get any runs until the 9th when it was a 4-0 game and already done at that point. Verdugo had the home run that brought Rizzo home in the 9th, made it 4-2. But even at that point, I don't think the Dodgers were seriously concerned, and I wouldn't have been either.
No.
Freddie Freeman, another home run. The streak ended at 5 or was it 6 straight games with a home run in the World Series?
6. It ended up being 6.
Yeah, which is an all-time World Series record, if I remember right, too.
Yep.
So.
Yep, sure is.
Not bad, Freddie. Not bad. And everybody's like, "Hey, you're bringing it up because it was with the yeah, I am." But you know what? It's because it's the World Series, and that's just what you do when players move teams. That has nothing to do with who he was with before.
Going back to his games in the World Series, he homered in 6 straight games.
Yeah, hell of a thing to do, especially because it's hard to get to enough World Series games to even have the opportunity to do that.
Right.
Then the Yankees finally broke through in Game 4. They picked up a win. The offense, for the only time in this series, really, before even Game 5, I mean, after their initial burst, they died down and did nothing. Freddie did open up with another home run in the top of the first, but that was it for a while. In the Yankees, in the 3rd inning, they just finally came alive. Volpe hit a grand slam, which that was a really cool grand slam. I mean, Volpe, let's remember, the last time the Yankees were in the World Series, Volpe was there in the stands as a kid watching the game. So pretty cool come around for Volpe. We won't talk anymore about that World Series, Jason.
I appreciate that. And I think the other thing too is that's the first time I think we had in World Series history where both teams had a grand slam in the World Series.
Yeah. I do remember back in 21, we actually had a game where we had a grand slam and we lost it. So grand slam is never an indicator of a win. I mean, unless it's a walk-off, which has happened all at one time. So, they're great to get, but they don't always mean you're going to get it. Austin Wells had a home run later in the 6th. Gleyber Torres had a home run late. Was that in the 9th or the 8th? No, it was in the 8th, yeah. In that 5-run 8th, when the Dodgers at that point said, yeah, we know we're not winning this one. We're just throwing the crap arms out and eating innings because you save your high leverage.
Yeah. And that was incredible because I was on my way back from the Philadelphia area, and I was telling Karen, let me know like the bottom of the 8th inning, what the score is, and I'll let you know if I want you to record it, depending on how far away I am from the house. And she let me know when it was the 8th inning, and she goes, so it's 6-4 Yankees at the moment. I said, okay. I said, I'll be home shortly, so you don't need to record it. And I walked in the house, not even like 10 to 15 minutes later, and it was 11-4. And I was like, what the hell happened in these last 10 to 15 minutes? And
Poor
she
Karen's
goes,
like,
she goes, the Yankees just scored a lot of runs. I said, sounds like it. So
the Yankees, they finally had a game where they broke out. But I do want to point out they had to use Holmes out of the bullpen again, even with that 4-1 lead. They didn't they didn't trust even the middle guys to get through. They were still using some of the high leverage guys. So again, it's just bullpen management. It's always a question. And then we get game 5, and this was one of the most exciting single World Series games I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that I had no rooting interest in this game at all, that I could just watch it and enjoy what was happening, because this was wild. One of the craziest games I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, not even so much the back and forth, because it wasn't really back and forth. It was one team dominated, other team came back, slight lead, and then taking the lead and ending it. So there were only a total of, I think, 4 lead changes.
Yeah.
So the way it happened was absolutely insane.
So Judge 2-run homer in the first, and then Jazz had a solo shot after that. And then Verdugo had a single in the second, which brought Volpe home to make it 4-0. Stanton had a home run in the third. So the Yankees were at 5-0 at this point. And then we get to the 5th inning, which will live in infamy for Yankees fans forever. And I think it's only appropriate that we watch the defensive sequence of the 5th inning to the one of the greatest theme songs ever made.
Nice. That's fantastic. That is absolutely amazing.
I love the internet sometimes.
Oh.
Sometimes I truly despise the internet, but that was not one of those times.
Yeah. I mean, and looking at, so we have those errors. First of all, the Yankees were not known this year for their defense.
No.
The Dodgers pretty much said, afterwards, like their scouting and everything was, hey, let's just put the ball in play and put the pressure on their defense, and especially bust your ass out of the box, sprint down the lines, and you saw the effect it had. For example, you have runner on first base, fly ball to Judge. Now this one, Judge just flat out drops. I'm not going to believe for a second that he lost it in the lights.
I think
it hit in the webbing.
I think he was checking the runner and just mistimed where the ball was.
Right. And then I think that was Kike, I think that was on first. And he busted it to second base, just beating out that throw. I'm like 95% sure that's Kike.
Yeah, it was Kike.
And then
they almost got him second.
Right. And what was big about that was then the very next play was that ground ball to short. Mm-hmm. And, the correct play was made in throwing to third, because the way that the ball's hit, it's taking you that way. You have a play at third, but Kike was busting his ass to third to the point that it forced a quick throw, which ended up becoming an errant throw. And so out of that, you then have bases loaded. And
let's remember too, Jazz never played third. he was always a second baseman before the Marlins transitioned him into the outfield, and he wasn't really a great defensive guy to start with.
Yeah.
So,
and you're asking him to basically be a first baseman over at third base.
Yeah.
And I mean, the throw didn't give him a chance anyway.
No.
But the thing is that for any kids that are playing this sport, the lesson you need to learn from this is run, hustle between the bases, hustle down the lines, because Kike also taking that really big secondary lead, which you did not see the Yankees doing. The Yankees were standing a foot off the base whenever they were on first, second, or third. The Dodgers were like 5 feet off the base, taking huge secondary leads, and it paid off because the moment they put the ball in play, they were halfway to the next base, forcing the bad throws.
Yep.
And I mean, the Dodgers were just so fundamentally sound that inning, while the Yankees were the complete opposite. And then even look at Garrett Cole. Yep. What's one of the first things that pitchers are taught as far as fielding their position?
You cover the bag until the first baseman tells you to get out of the way.
Exactly. Like, Garrett Cole probably assumed that Rizzo was going to stop the ball, take it to first. It was too far away. And, maybe Rizzo potentially could have gone there. But again, Mookie was flying down the baseline.
Yep.
And Cole never covered it. The fundamentals were gone. Run comes in, everybody's safe.
Yep.
So the way that inning unfolded was just absolutely amazing to me, because the fundamentals were just out the window for the Yankees.
Yep. And the fact that Cole hung Rizzo out to dry, the fact that anybody thinks Anthony Rizzo screwed up anything on that play. No, his pitcher left him out to dry. And you could tell the way Rizzo fielded it, he was looking because he was expecting the pitcher to be running over to cover the base. And when he wasn't, give Rizzo credit, he stopped himself from making the automatic shuffle throw over, which is hammered into you from spring training on, from Little League on. So
right.
It was the worst defensive inning in the history of the World Series. I don't ever find one single inning that went as poorly as that one did. And, what gets lost around that is Garrett Cole still struck out 2 out of 3 guys in the inning. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. After Mookie, Freddie singled on a line drive to center, and then Teoscar Hernandez had that big double to center as well. And that's what tied the game up at 5 right there. And then the Yankees, they did get one back in the 6th. But that was really it after that. The Yankees were out of time, and you could feel it.
That 5th inning, that top of the 5th inning, just killed any bit of momentum that the Yankees had leading up to that point. It put everything into the Dodgers' side, and it just sucked the life out of that ballpark. Sure, the Yankees came back and took a lead, but that place was nowhere near as rocking as it was the first 5-6 innings.
Yeah. And they finally got to Flaherty, who we did think might be a rough spot. Flaherty did pitch well in his first appearance, but that one was not one of his good ones. And, the Dodgers were blowing through the good guys in the bullpen because they knew they still had it.
Well, and the thing is, Roberts could go to his high leverage guys for as long as he did for those 6-5 innings or whatever it was, because he saved them by 1, not throwing them when the game was out of hand in game 4, and 2, letting his starters who were dominating stay in late. And the Dodgers then took bigger leads that they didn't have to use the high leverage guys, or if they did, they weren't getting a whole lot of usage, that they were still fresh for game 5.
Exactly. And then he even took it up another notch. He used Treinen for 2 1/3 near the end of the game, and then had Walker Buehler come in and close it out. He's like, "No, we're not saving Buehler for another game. We're going to use him now and put the nail in the coffin and be done with it."
Yeah,
I love that move.
I absolutely love that move too, and I think the reason for that is Walker Buehler usually starts games really strongly. It's that second to third time through the lineup that he struggles.
Exactly.
So why not use this guy who is such a dominant starter for the first time through? Let him win you a champion. Let him save a championship for you. I was debating whether or not I wanted to bring this up because I know I give you crap at times for relating things back to the Braves. But there's one example of this that comes to mind, and it's the 2022 NLCS when David Robertson was in to close for the Phillies in Game 5, and he has runners on base with 1 out. So what did Thompson do? He goes to Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, who is just so calm, cool, and collected when put into jammed situations. And 2 pitches later, the series was over with the Phils advancing. So, like that to me was basically that was Dave Roberts doing that exact same thing, only with a fresh inning, and it just absolutely paid off.
No, I think it was absolutely 100% the right call. Use the high leverage guys before that, and then just bring in a starter that doesn't have to worry about an innings restriction and can just go out and throw gas.
Yeah.
I loved it.
And I think I was going back and forth as to whether or not I agreed with how long Boone let Garrett Cole pitch, because Cole did pitch well in the 6th and 7th innings before he was taken out. And really the 5th inning, aside from him not covering the first base, the 5th inning wasn't because he pitched terribly. It was because his defense let him down.
No, he actually pitched really well in that inning outside of him not covering first base.
So I think Boone did the right thing there. It's just that the Dodgers just had momentum and they got to the Yankees' pen before the Yankees could take it from the Dodgers. So
yeah, what a series it was. And one thing too to point out, not only was the Dodgers pitching really good, I mean the Yankees bats did not show up outside of Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton. I guess Volpe a little bit too, but really, like, your prohibitive favorite for the AL MVP award slashed 184 with a 752 OPS.
He has a career playoff batting average of $199.
I mean, Judge was he was a hole in that lineup this entire series. I mean, okay, yeah, he had 1 home run in the last game. Great. Where were you in game?
It was a boost. Like he gave them a boost, but he then also countered it by dropping a fly ball.
Yep. So, and with Austin Wells catching, he hit 120 in the series, the 460. Remember how I said I liked the trade for the Marlins when Jazz was sent to New York because New York gave up that damn near major league ready catching prospect?
Mm-hmm.
It might not have been a bad idea to consider carrying him on the roster if that's what you're getting out of your catching.
Right.
I'm Austin Wells is not the reason the Yankees lost the World Series, but boy, his bat did not help them one bit.
No.
So, well, anyway, so what a series. Freddie took MVP. Obviously, there was no other choice.
No.
No. Freddie basically locked it up in game 1 when he walked off of the grand slam.
Yeah.
So, truly one of the best World Series performances you're ever going to see out of any player. I mean, Freddie absolutely ridiculous. Let me pull up the line for the series here. World Series.
And while he didn't have a home run in the clinching game, he had key at bats, he had key RBIs. There was just no doubt.
Yeah. So 2024 World Series. He slashed 300, 364, 1. He had in 20 at-bats, he had 5 runs scored, 6 hits, a triple, 4 home runs, 12 RBIs, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. That's unheard of.
That's incredible.
The stat CWPA, championship win probability added for offensive players. This gives you the percentage of how much they contributed to their team's odds of winning. Plus 29. And let me put it to you this, and let me just for comparison, when Atlanta won in 21, he was only a plus 1.5. Damn. That's a series to remember.
Yeah, absolutely.
So congratulations to Freddie. Congratulations to the Dodgers. Congratulations to your dad.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, that was just such a fun night. He was like, I'm so happy for Davey Roberts. Yeah. Like he was just like, it was like calling him Davey. I was like, this is just amazing. Before the final strike was thrown, I was like, I'm just gonna start recording just to see what the reaction is. And he's just there going, come on, end it here, end it. And then just the yes, and he's just sitting there with his arms up like this, just like smiling, just watching the celebration.
It's just a feeling of relief, man. It's such a feeling. Because it's almost like at first it's like, oh, it's over. I can't believe, and then the emotions just catch you. It's, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh, so much fun. So
I'm glad
he definitely made Christmas shopping much easier for him this year for us.
Yep, World Series gear. That's exactly what my dad said after 21. I still, one of my favorite sweatshirts I've ever gotten, the 21 Braves World Championship sweatshirt.
Yep.
Yep, it does make it easier. All right, let's move it on. The Gold Glove Awards winners were announced. We actually did pretty good in our predictions, dude.
Yeah.
We did way better than I thought we were going to do. So, all right. So let's see here. Let's roll it. American League catcher went to Cal Raleigh of the Mariners, whom I picked to win that one. You picked Rogers. First base went to the ageless wonder Carlos Santana, the oldest player to ever win a Golden Glove Award, and we both picked him as well. So we are off to a good start this year.
Yeah.
Second base, Andres Jimenez of the Guardians. Okay, that was an easy pick. Sorry. that pick was a little too easy because he's so damn good. All right, third baseman went to Alex Bregman of the Astros, which was your pick. Good job there, Jason. We both went with Bobby Witt, who, again, that was a really easy pick. Yeah. It was shockingly not Anthony Volpe, as we saw in the World's End. That wasn't nice. Andrew. All right, moving on to left field. It went to Stephen Kwan of the Guardians. We missed that one. We both went with Cowser of the Orioles. Mm-hmm. Center field went to Dalton Varsho of the Blue Jays. I picked Varsho. You had Duran. Right field went to Wilyer Abreu of the Red Sox. I think, we both picked Wilyer Abreu. We did really well this year. Go us.
Especially for the AL, which is not our specialty.
This is unheard of. Pitcher this year went to Seth Lugo of the Royals, and that was your pick. I went with Reagans because we both figured it was going to go to one of the Royals.
Yeah.
That's right. Griffin Canning was Griffin Canning is now in Atlanta. Go figure. All right. Jason, I'm sorry. Wheeler might not win it next year either.
Yeah.
I know. Pitcher, it's such a crap shot picking anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Utility went to Dylan Moore of the Mariners, which was your pick. Good job. All right. Let's move it into the AL. Catcher went to Patrick Bailey of the Giants. We both whiffed that one. I went Moreno. You went Smith. All right. First baseman, which I'm going to be heated about that one for a while, went to Christian Walker instead of Matt Olson. Ugh. Don't like that pick. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. We're 0-2 on these. I'm pretty sure that
I just don't agree with that pick in particular. Olson had a fantastic season at first, not at the plate, but at first. All right. Second base went to Bryce Terong of the Brewers, which I did pick that one. I know you picked Stott. It was more of an emotional pick, although Stott did have a good season.
Yeah.
All right. Shortstop went to Ezekiel Tovar of the Rockies, because God knows the Rockies had to have something. We both missed that one. Wow, we did not do as well in the NL. That is funny, man.
That's crazy.
Third base, we nailed. It was Matt Chapman, as it should have been. All right, let's move it into the outfield. It went to Ian Happ again for the Cubbies, which we both had, and I'm sure Joe was picking that one as well. Center field went to Brenton Doyle of the Rockies because, again, the Rockies had nothing else to root for this year. And like we pointed out in the previous show, Michael Harris was not eligible. Too many injuries. Too many games missed due to injuries.
Like you pointed out in the previous shows.
Well, I mean, he had the catch. He did have the catch of the year, even if he didn't get the Gold Glove. I think we can agree on that one.
Yeah, I don't remember it.
Oh, you don't?
Next up.
Because it was in Citizens Bank Park? Anyway, we did both pick Doyle, though, so that one we did get.
That works.
Right field was Sal Frelick of the Brewers, which we also both picked that one. We did better in the outfield, at least. Pitcher went to Chris Sale of Atlanta, who I picked. Sorry, it wasn't Wheeler this year.
That was absolutely one of my homer picks, and
Well, so was mine. Let's be real. Like I said,
they were easily the top two for that one. So
yeah. So I'm if Sale would have lost and Wheeler would have won, I wouldn't have been upset. It was a 1A, 1B situation.
Yep.
Utility, Jared Trillo of the Pirates, which neither of us picked. We both went with Brandon Donovan of the Cards. Well, no Cardinals won this year. What a pity. I know Joe's brokenhearted about that one. The Platinum Gloves in the American League went to catcher Cal Raleigh of the Mariners, and then Bryce Terong of the Brewers at second base for the National League. So those are our two Platinum Gloves.
Okay. I didn't see those announced, so that's news to me. I didn't realize those were announced.
Yeah, they were announced right after. I think you stopped watching after the Gold Gloves were done.
That makes sense.
Then the Team Gold Gloves, I'm trying to remember. I read somewhere where that was, but I forgot to open that page. Give me a second. I think Milwaukee had one of them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Milwaukee and Toronto were the Team Gold Glove Awards this year.
Okay.
No arguments there.
Yeah.
Especially with Dalton Varsho in center field. I mean, dude's a beast. Absolute beast out there.
Yeah.
So good that they moved him from
exactly. Got him out from behind the plate and let him really shine in on the defensive side.
Yeah, absolutely the right call there. All right. And now the finalists for the major awards were announced tonight. As MLB has been doing, starting next week, they will be awarding one award per night. So Rookie of the Year will be next Monday, Manager next Tuesday, Cy Young's next Wednesday, and MVP's next Thursday.
We going to do a prediction with these as we go?
Absolutely.
All right.
What kind of a show would this be if we didn't do predictions? Let me just make another tab down here because I didn't make a topic sheet for tonight. All right. So our MVP finalists, you have Aaron Judge of the Yankees, Juan Soto of the Yankees, and Bobby Witt Jr. of the Royals. It's wild. We're going to have a guy with 10 WAR who's not going to win because the other guy who won has 10 WAR. Insane. Mm-hmm. Are we both unanimous on Aaron Judge?
Aaron Judge.
I figured.
We need to remember it's a regular season award, not a full season including playoff award.
Exactly. All right. And then why MLB screwed up the article? They didn't put the NL finalists on this thing.
I can give you those.
I'm sure it's going to be Shohei.
It was Shohei, Francisco Lindor. Paul Skeens. I think no. Skeens was
MVP.
He was Cy Young.
It doesn't matter. It's going to be Shohei.
I would have made a bigger argument for Francisco Lindor, but agreed. I agree. I think it should be Lindor, but it's going to be Shohei. Shohei will be my official prediction.
Yeah, same. Exactly what you and I said during the last episode before the playoffs started. Francisco Lindor carried the Mets on his back the entire way down the stretch, and he should be the MVP because the Mets would not have been where they were without him. But it's going to go to Shohei.
Ketel Marte is the other one.
It's still going to be Shohei.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just want to make sure we had out there who the third one was.
Yeah, that doesn't change my decision in the slightest.
No.
All right. AL Cy Young finalists. You have Emmanuel Clase of the Guardians, which it's rare. You don't often see a reliever be nominated even, but he did have a good season. Seth Lugo of the Royals and Tariq Skubal of the Tigers. I think I'm going to go Skubal on this one.
Same. I'm going Skubal.
He did hold the Triple Crown as well, didn't he?
Yes, he did. We had 2 Triple Crown winners.
First, 2012? Has it been that long?
Something like that.
Yeah, because I think it was one of the years Kershaw had it. So, yeah, it's been a while. All right, NL Cy Young is going to come down to Chris Sale of the Braves, Paul Skeens of the Pirates, Zach Wheeler of the Phillies. The fact that Skeens is on here kind of twerks my gears a little bit because I feel like this award should be given to someone who actually pitched the whole year, not just a little over half of it. But doesn't matter. It's going to be Sale. You win the Triple Crown, you win the Cy Young. I don't think a Triple Crown winner has ever not won the Cy Young.
Yeah, and as much as I would love to see Zach Wheeler finally get his Cy Young award, he was robbed of it 2 years ago. It's just so unfortunate for him that Sale had as incredible of a year as he did. Yeah. A season that I don't think anybody saw coming from Chris Sale.
Nope, not even me. Not even the biggest Braves homer you're going to find around.
You know, with his injury history. But as much as I love Wheeler, it's going to Sale this year, and it's much deserved at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, AL Rookie of the Year. Your finalists are Colton Cowser of the Orioles, Lewis Gill of the Yankees, and Austin Wells of the Yankees. I know I just gave Wells a little bit of crap for the World Series performance, but anyway, it doesn't take
regular season award.
Season. Yep.
I'm going Cowser.
I think it's going to be Cowser. I think this run of Orioles Rookies of the Year is going to go one more year. Yeah, he had a great season. Holy crap. It's hard to believe he was a rookie at times, the way he was playing.
Yeah.
NL Rookie of the Year finalists. Outfielder Jackson Chourio of the Brewers. Outfielder Jackson Merrill of the Padres. And, of course, pitcher Paul Skeens of the Pirates. This one's tough because this is one where I keep going between Merrill and Skeens, honestly. But Chourio had a great season, too. I mean, this is one where all three choices are the correct choice.
Yeah. Give you a little bit of insight here. A Colton Cowser win for AL Rookie would actually be a little bit of an upset from the betting odds. Luis Gill is actually the current betting favorite. But, and then to give you an idea, just because I was curious, we have for the NL Rookie of the Year, Paul Skeens is currently the betting favorite by just a little bit. It's not terrible. Followed by Jackson Merrill.
This is tough. I think I'll go Merrill. I won't be surprised if it's Skeens.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised either way. I'm looking at this. Jackson Merrill, his line this year was 292, 327, 504 with 24 home runs.
As a rookie.
And I want to say Jackson Merrill, but just because, it's better when you and I have varying degrees of picks here, I'm just going to go against you and take Skeens.
It wouldn't surprise me if either one of us is right.
Like, if I had a vote, it would be to Jackson Merrill. But for the prediction, I'm just going to say Skeens.
That's fine. All right, Managers of the Year. You have your finalists are A.J. Hinch of the Tigers. You have Matt Quattaro of the Royals and Stephen Vogt of the Guardians, which this was Vogt's first year. What he did with that team was that was very impressive. Because we were not high on the Guardians in the preseason in their odds of getting back, although we acknowledge that the Central is weak. I'm going to take Hinch because I'm taking Quattro. I'm taking Quattro because nobody gave the Royals a chance to sniff the playoffs this year, and the fact that they did as well as they did. Hinch, great second half, but Quattro had the Royals had the whole season.
Yeah. I think I am going to. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Matt Quattraro as well. Yeah, just because of how the Royals weren't supposed to be doing anything, and he took them to the playoffs.
Their preseason odds of making the playoffs, I think, were given at like 2.5%.
Right.
It's that just feels right to me. All right, the NL Manager of the Year finalist Carlos Mendoza of the Mets, Pat Murphy, not Pat Murphy of Warwick, of the Brewers, and Mike Shildt of the Padres. First of all, without making a pick, I hope Shildt gets it just to give an enormous middle finger to the Cardinals organization for letting him go like they did. Idiots.
Yeah.
So this one's tough.
Who do we have again? We have Mendoza of the Mets,
Murphy of the Brewers, and Shildt of the Padres.
I think I'm going to go with Murphy of the Brewers.
I like that.
If it isn't Murphy, I would think it would be Mendoza, just because of how the Mets were kind of dead in the water and then turn it around. But I think for this one, the division title is going to make a difference for Murphy, especially being his first year at the helm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Murphy of the Brewers. So sorry, Cardinals fans and Cubs fans.
And to think of the two guys that have managed in Milwaukee the last couple of years, he's the guy who's the most likely to get the freaking Manager of the Year award. Wow, baseball's funny like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Mendoza because this was also his first year at the helm for the Mets. 89 and 73, well above what they were expecting out of them. You know, he got them into the playoffs. They got through they got all the way to the NLCS in his first year. I know postseason doesn't count, but it's a great run.
It's too bad it doesn't. That's for sure.
Yeah. If postseason counted, he's the shoe-in pick.
Yeah.
Without
I would not be surprised if he won it. Part of me is actually kind of pulling for him because I think he is most deserving.
Yeah. He did great things with that ball club this year. He really did. A club that we thought was going to flounder around.
They never met. We were waiting for them to met, and they never did. They just ran into a tough team in the NLCS.
Yeah. Well, no shame when you get knocked out by the World Series champions, right?
Yeah. So as much as I am pulling for it to be Mendoza, which again, it's weird. I think like the Mets fans that would be listening to this, hearing a Braves fan and a Phillies fan basically saying, "Yeah, give it to the Mets manager."
It should be Mendoza.
It shows that we can be unbiased at times. But from the prediction standpoint, I'm going to take Murphy as much as I want it to be Mendoza.
Well, let's think about the Mets too going into the NLCS this year. It kind of reminded me of the Phillies last year in the NLCS. They ran into the hotter team and they were spent from the previous round. They didn't have anything left in the tank. And that's just going to happen sometimes too.
I wouldn't say that the Phillies were spent from the previous round last year. They beat the Braves in 4.
Yeah, but but all of their offensive output was that round. There was so little offensive output in the NLCS that last year.
Well, I think that doesn't mean that the team ran out of gas last year and this year. I think what made the big difference was patience at the plate. You saw it. I mean, look at the difference that look at the difference the Mets pitchers had against the Phillies in the divisional series and the Dodgers in the championship series. The Phillies are swinging at almost anything. The Dodgers worked at bats and made them throw pitches. Right. And that's why they won. Won the pennant, won the World Series, because they did the same thing in the World Series. Yeah. I'm pulling for Mendoza, going with Murphy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Mendoza. He's my pick. So, all right. So the awards will start being announced next week. We've had a little bit of free agent action so far, basically in the form of a couple trades. Atlanta unloaded Soler to the Angels and got Griffin Canning back. Basically a salary dump move, but that's been the only big trade. I think I saw Atlanta maybe picked up. I think we picked up an infielder today, but he's going to be like the backup guy. Nothing major to write home about that now. Free agency is going to be hopefully more exciting than it was last year. Hopefully we're not like begging some third-tier guy to sign, so we have something to talk about, so we don't have to go like 2 months in between episodes before previews. Hopefully Scott Boras does not force his clients to wait until mid-March to sign this year. I mean, hopefully I did see that Chapman actually had fired Boras after all of that and did not sign his extension towards the end of the year with the Giants as a Boras client. He signed it under another agent. So hopefully more players will start standing up to Scott Boras and saying, buddy, we understand what you're trying to do, but these guys look like crap coming into spring training late for 2 months until they get into the groove because they're not getting reps. So hopefully more players will start standing up to Boras, and more teams will basically tell Boras to pound sand and stop dragging it out so long, because it really is a detriment to the players.
You want to hear something like I just looked up because I wanted to confirm it before I brought it up. Nick Castellanos is a former Scott Boras agent. He dropped him recently. He dropped him in the middle of October.
Oh, wow.
And is now representing himself.
Oh, that should go well for a fairly team-friendly re-sign.
Yeah. But, so not only are people dropping Boras as an agent, but they're not even picking up a new agent.
Nothing wrong with that.
So know your worth, everybody.
Yeah, and that's not the first time we've seen that. I mean, I remember that happened many times back in the 90s. Players often represented themselves because they didn't want to lose the agent's cut to the contract. And let's be real too. Back in the 90s, contracts weren't nearly the complexity that they are now. Now I would at least want a lawyer, if not an agent, to at least help me look over it and make sure I'm not missing something, just because of all of the stuff that they throw into it now. But I remember Andrew Jones represented himself for one of the contracts. I think I remember Larry Walker did that at least once with the Rockies. It happens. And, I hope more players do it. Actually, Andrew might have been represented by his dad. I feel like it was his dad, actually, something odd like that. But anyway, so that's in the Wayback Machine. So anyway, what a season, man. And what a way to end it. Exciting the whole way through, with one of the most exciting regular seasons we've seen in a while, with all the storylines that ran throughout the entire year. And it's going to hopefully be an exciting off season. I did hear what's the Japanese guy's name that just got posted? Give me a second. Anyway, one of the top free agents in Japan just posted, but he's not 25 yet. So he's going to have, he's going to be bound under the international cap rules that Shohei was under when he came over. So that doesn't necessarily mean that he's guaranteed to be out on the West Coast, because everybody's going to have bought within $2 million, the same amount of money, because it's based on the international cap. It's not based on we're going to throw as much money as we can give you because he's
Right.
not 25 yet. So that's going to be something to watch. I think I saw Buster Olney said he was going to immediately move him up as probably the number 2 or number 3 available free agent, right behind, of course, Juan Soto, who could potentially see $700 million this offseason, which is a mind-blowing number to think about.
Right. Yeah. Fun year. I know we have one show left. This is the second to last episode of our season here. In a couple weeks, I guess we'll come back and do a brief wrap up of the awards. Kind of toast to what was this, season 4?
Yeah, 4th season. Crazy.
So wrap up our 4th season of doing the show and head into our own off season.
Yeah, a well-deserved off-season. It was a busy year, man. I love doing the show, but I don't hate when the World Series hits and we can taper it back a little bit.
Yep, absolutely.
It's a lot during the regular season, but it's a lot of fun too. All right, guys, audio recordings are available. I swear I can still speak on Anchor, Spotify, Breaker, Google Podcast, Apple Podcasts, pretty much anywhere you can see podcasts. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Merchandise is at redbubble.com. And follow us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/dollardogsandbeer. We are presented by Dark Arrow Podcast, LLC. We are sponsored by Baron Barbershop over in Mannheim. Guys, may your dogs always cost $1. May your beer always be cold. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everybody.